Hello everyone, it's Hira. I hope you're doing well. Good to have you back on our videos here. What I'd like to talk to you about today is an aspect that we get asked quite a lot, and that is how do you start creating a conversation on social media, and how do you do that, and what are the key things you need to be thinking about when you want to start creating a conversation. Now, I thought that obviously when you have created your profile online, then the next thing that you need to do is need to start engaging, and therefore knowing how to create those conversations is quite essential, really. Now, how do you do that? There are so many ways of doing it, but the first and the most popular thing is, of course, asking questions. Now, like we do in our everyday life, social is no different. It should not be any different. In other words, at the moment you start considering social networking as a different type of platform from what you do in a day-to-day engagement, then you're missing the point. So in other words, whatever you do in day-to-day conversation with friends and how you deal with them, that's exactly the same thing you need to do online. In fact, online, you need to be putting a lot more effort too. Now, the first thing, as I said, starting with a question. So asking something interesting, engaging with the friends and groups you're on that specific platform, whether that's LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, or any other platform. It's also ask a question, see something, watch a video, have a look at those images, really think about it, and don't just ask like stupid questions, but ask interesting and relevant questions. So when people read at your questions, they actually realize that you have put some thinking into it. It's not just like where was this video taken? That doesn't say anything. You need to be asking relevant questions, insightful questions that are about the content of the video. And so that's one thing. The other thing you could do is you could also compliment people, just like you do in everyday life. You could just say, thank you very much, this is good, this is excellent, this is great, it really helps. But try also to be more specific on what you're complimenting them about. Don't just give a general compliment. Something else could do to actually start those conversations is by getting to know people, start chatting. Now, this happens a lot in every social networking channel, whether that's Twitter, Facebook, or LinkedIn. You can start talking to people. You can say hi, you can introduce yourself, and then start that conversation. Of course, the most important thing in here when you start conversation is to keep in mind that the other person is more interested to know about him and herself rather than about you. So you need to start making them as a priority when you talk to them rather than yourself, because they want to show you who they are and what do they do and everything. So put some effort into them first, and then they will ask you back on the things that you do. The other thing that you could do is also, you need to start conversations. You can also look at finding groups or I don't know, a list of friends with common interests. Now, I like, for instance, snowboarding. I like extreme sports and things like that. So what I'll do, I'll go on Facebook and I'll start searching for those specific groups of people so that I can engage with them. I would do the same with other things as well. Now, you can do pretty much the same thing, and then you can start engaging with those people and start different conversations. The other thing you could also do is that when you give, if you're gonna give a feedback or a comment to someone online, make sure it's constructive. Don't just say this is crap, doesn't do anything. Okay, because that's not the point. The point is to actually give a constructive feedback, so then you can, these are like triggers to a conversation. So these are the key things to start those conversations. And so when you be constructive in giving feedback, then you have a chance to hear back from the publisher, whoever has created that content. Of course, the other thing is to do is sometimes to also present new ideas. So what you could do is that as soon as you have watched that content that has been published by someone online, you can start asking them questions, and then you can start presenting some ideas. In other words, you are truly engaging with that individual or with that business because you are genuinely interested to know more about them. And that's the key. Whichever element you're going to use that I've just talked to you about until now, you've got to show that you are genuinely interested. In fact, if you're not genuinely interested, don't do it. So make sure that you really want to do it. If you don't want to do it, don't do it. because it comes across very, very clearly. And what happens, people will start ignoring you, and then they'll start just stopping to engage with you, or like unfollowing you, or all of that. So make sure you do that. The next thing is, when you start having those conversations, you've built up a conversation. The most important thing after that is making sure you listen and you respond. So do not ignore conversations. Make sure that you get back to them, you get back to people as soon as possible. Now with the mobile phones and tablets and everything else, that is super easy. You know, that you don't have a reason to like wait 48 hours or like 3 days to get back to someone. It's essential you get back to them as quick as possible. It's good. In a way, even if there is no rule to how quick you need to get back to someone on social media, most of the people expect you to get back to them very, very quick. The other thing is, of course, even when you have those signs of interest that people show to you by liking your content or thumbing up the things that you create, make sure you engage with that. That is an element you can engage with. That is something, that's also a trigger that you can use to start those conversations with someone. Now, if somebody's liking your video or liking your content, and of course, that's it, most of the people don't do anything about it. That's just wrong. What you could do is that you could go and say, thank you to those people who viewed that specific type of content, and here is a link for more. So in other words, use a good opportunity to thank them, but also bring them with you in another channel or another content or something you created. And I believe that that's something that really is most people miss it online, and also most companies as well. Because there's so many likes about so many things that we create online, but what do? We just take it as a automatic process that just happened and just ignore it. In other words, you ignore an opportunity to start a conversation. So I hope that was useful to you. Try that out and let us know what you think. Give us your thoughts, your comments. We'd love to hear from you. And thank you very much. Bye-bye.